Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Plough Lane podcast. This is going to be probably one of the best ones. We've had an amazing result against the franchise, beating them at Fortress Plough Lane. We're joined by Hector in the top right, Kian in the bottom right, and Scotty Garbett in the bottom left. Just before we get into anything, I quickly wanted to state an opinion and play a video.
Franchise get battered, everywhere they go. Franchise get battered, everywhere they go. Everywhere they go.
Well, that was absolutely brilliant. We played franchise at home yesterday, beat them 1-0, a 94th minute winner. Ronan Curtis. Absolutely crazy. Let's start with Scott. You obviously travelled down very early in the morning. Talk me through your day and the whole experience.
Amazing experience. Best day I've ever experienced as a Wimbledon fan. Getting up yesterday at 5:30 in the morning was a bit of a drag after a night out on the beer at a wedding night before, I must admit. But it's so worth it, going to see the real Wimbledon, back at Wimbledon, being the team that, stole our club, stole everything from us. And yesterday, I stood back after we celebrated, after I shared a teary hug with Kian, your dad, and my dad, and everybody left the ground pretty much, and just stood there and just looked at the ground, there's tears running down my eyes. It's one of the, it's the most surreal feeling ever, knowing that we've done the franchise on our own turf in the 94th minute. It was as if, this fairy tale that we've been living, not the fairy tale that, other people keep on going on about Wrexham having all this money, this, that, and other. This is a fairy tale. We've come from jumping. We
are the real fairy tale.
We have built a ground 800 yards from the old Plough Lane, and we have beat the team that stole everything from us, and to see some of them getting nibbles on Twitter and everything as well, it's just even more incredible.
I feel like that's what we've been working towards, getting back to Plough Lane, and we've had such awful luck against them. Finally beat them on our own turf. I think everyone shed a tear. Hector, you also had a couple of tears in your eyes, but we were next to the away fans. What was your experience? Obviously, a little bit different. You haven't supported the Dons for as long as Scott, let's just say. How was your experience yesterday? Go on.
Yeah, so I am a relatively new supporter. Only really when we moved back to Plough Lane, but I've never looked back since.
The perfect place to start.
Yeah, exactly. Got basically emotionally attached to the club, and then after learning all the history and stuff, getting into that. After that result yesterday, it did bring a tear to my eye, and it was just incredible to see.
You look like you're about to cry right now.
What?
No, you don't. I'm joking.
Yeah. But getting that result, it just means everything to the club, to the fans, to everything that Wimbledon stands for. The whole history of it, it's just incredible. Nothing will ever beat that.
It was definitely the best scenes at Plough Lane I've ever seen. And nothing will top that unless we go beat them 6-0 or something, if we're in the same league next year. Kian, you were in the East Stand with us next to the away fans in the first half. Then you went into the South Stand. How was the experience? Was it better in the East or was it better in the South? Tell us.
I mean, personally, I feel like... for me, the atmosphere, obviously, I felt like the East Stand, people were sitting there more to have a go at the Milton Keynes fans, which is totally fine.
I think we tried to just make it really toxic. I think it was really good to see. Yeah.
But I guess in the South Stand, it felt more like I was at home, being that we were singing, about Wimbledon and stuff like that. And I guess the East Stand was a reinforcement to just attack the franchise and make them feel unwelcome. So, With the game itself, I've been a fan since around, just at the end of when we stayed up against Bradford that season. Mm-hmm. And that's the first time I've ever watched us play MK at home. And for that to be a win is just unreal.
Yeah, it really is. Well, everyone's so excited. I think my screen time on my phone is absolutely crazy looking at all of the clips. I've got about 1 million clips saved onto my camera roll. But let's look more in depth of the game. It was a pretty different start in 11. I'm just going to read it out. We had Bass, Barmer, O'Toole came in, Brown, and then Newville was playing right wing back. Reeves and Little in the middle. Curry was also a wing back, and then Tilly, Kelly, and Bugle. A really, really different lineup. Scott, when the lineup came out, and we had Barmer come in as well, a lot of people didn't expect that. What was your thoughts when the lineup came out?
Yeah, I said to my dad on the way down, I says, we're a crafty bunch at times. And I had a feeling that Barmer, knowing he'd been back in training, I had a feeling he was going to start. And I said to my dad, it'd be good to see O'Toole play. I was expecting O'Toole to play in a midfield diamond, I must admit.
Yeah.
But, playing in the back three, Lee Brown playing in the back three on the left side, it gives us more balance. He isn't an out-and-out centre-half. He's not an out-and-out left-back, I don't think, anymore. I think a left centre-half suits him perfectly.
Yeah.
And a rejuvenated Josh Newville, right wing-back. I mean, who knew he could defend? I mean, he was up and down the wing as well. He put a few decent balls into the box. Yeah, all over the park. I mean, the couple of them, I was a bit shocked about. I mean, I was shocked about Bogle playing so high up. I thought he'd just be, playing there in like the tip of the diamond, but he was right up Josh Kelly's arse a lot of time, and he had what I thought a red card decision against him in the first 4 minutes. I think their keeper should have been sent early, for a very early shower. But yeah, very good decision by Jackson. I said when we played him away, I remember turning to your dad, I says, we are not set up at all to play against these. Yeah. Our formation it doesn't set up against their formation. That they know how to play a little bit of football, to be fair to them, but we matched their formation.
Exactly.
And we just wanted it more yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Kian, let's talk about when we played franchise last time, lost 3-1, conceded about 3 goals in the first 20 minutes. Yeah. The formation was wrong. The lineup was wrong. And yeah, a lot of new boys coming in, a lot of players that didn't start last time against them played today. What was your thoughts when the lineup came out? And especially about the changes, Newville playing out of position, O'Toole coming in. And yeah, what do you think?
Well, I was definitely surprised when I saw that lineup. I mean, I didn't expect Kofi Barmer to be in the squad that fast after not even being on the bench in the last few matches. Getting them ready. But with O'Toole, I was also very surprised that, like Scott, I thought he was going to play in the midfield as well, as he has been for quite a long time, but then moving into the centre-back position more recently. But I feel like he worked perfectly as a centre-back pairing with Lee Brown and Kofi Barmer. So, I mean, and same with Josh Newville as well. I mean, who would know that he could actually defend, In some matches, he didn't seem like he could attack either, but he was definitely one of the best players on the pitch that game.
Exactly. He really was. I agree. Hector, I'm going to come to you for the next question about, let's go through, we're going to go through 11. We're going to go through a starting 11, every single player, look at their performance. And I'd like you to give them a out of 10 rating. And then at the end, we'll collect our thoughts and look at our man of the match. Hector, starting with Alex Bass in goal. Couple saves, especially in the second half, kept us in it. How do you think Bass played?
I would say 8 and 8 out of 10. I don't think he really had to do much. He made one save at the end, but he sort of creeped out to them. He missed an open goal. So that was probably a shaky little moment. Maybe should have done better there, but all round, I think he didn't have to do very much, and I thought he was quite solid otherwise. Exactly.
Scott, what about yourself? I think Bass has been brilliant. He's kept us in a lot of games. I think they should have scored one at the end. They missed an open goal. I think I could have scored it. But yeah, he kept us in it a little bit. How do you think? No, I could have easily. I could have scored that. How do you think Alex Bass played, Scott?
Yeah, he didn't have to do much today. He made the one that was a bit of a p-roller to him just before the half time. And then he parried one out. The parry one out, I must admit, he should have probably done a little bit better with it, Alex Bass. But what's come on really leaps and bounds recently for him is he's how he can use the ball with his feet. I mean, me and my dad got told at the start when we signed him, he's not very good with his feet, and that's something that people slam down on Zanev as well. So he's come on leaps and bounds with his feet, and his distribution from the back, because we had to play out from the back yesterday with 3 centre halves, was very good.
Yeah. 100%. I think, and especially when we have Zanev, like he was playing in goal for the whole of last season, his distribution was awful. I even think, even though Zanev has done well when he's come in, especially against Coventry and any other games in the, it's not the Pizza Trophy anymore, the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. He's done okay, but still the distribution isn't good. But yeah, Bass has done brilliant. Kian, let's move on to a different player, Kofi Barmer. A lot of fans didn't expect him to play. But yeah, he did come off at the end a little. He did come off and got subbed off a little bit close to the end of the game. So let's hope he hasn't got another injury and won't be out for another week. How do you think Kofi played?
I mean, personally, I didn't really notice him that much, but not that's in a good way because that he's done his job. You know that we've expect that from him, and I feel that definitely deserves a rating of around 8 to 8.5. I'll give him an 8.1. Just a solid overall performance from the whole defense, not just him.
He's got to go up higher for me just because he screamed in one of the MK players' faces when he tried diving. A long loan player wagging his finger in the franchise player's face. He's got to be a 9.5 just for that.
Exactly. There were so many shithousery moments. You had Brown giving it. You had Bass. Newville was waving their fans goodbye at the end of the game. Curtis was running up to them, and that's how the little fight started at the end.
Did you see Plough when he scored?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Was it when he ran into? I think it was O'Hara. I think
bodied one of their centre backs.
Oh yeah, no, Harvey. That was
Harvey.
the one that was giving it.
He was an idiot all game.
What a melt.
Hector, let's go to you. Kofi Barmer. Obviously, not a lot of fans expected him to start. But how do you think he played? And when every centre-back is fit, what do you do with the defence?
That's a tough question. But Kofi Barmer alone, yesterday, I thought he was pretty good. He's pretty solid, obviously. He went off in what minute did he go off? 70th minute?
It was pretty late today.
I think probably the plan was to get him off after an hour.
Yeah, I don't think we should have played the full 90 anyway, because he went down once, and if he played the full 90, that would have been a mistake. But he was pretty solid overall, and I wouldn't say he was bad. I would say I agree with Kian, about an 8 out of 10. I'll give him.
Yeah, exactly. Scott, we talked about it last week on the podcast. We said about how when every defender is fit, what the hell do you do with that defense? We've got so many good options. Lewis was training before the game. He looks all right, to be honest. He looked fit. He looks, well, maybe not fit, but he looked ready to go in maybe a week's time. How would you shape up the defense? Who would you play? It's a tough one.
Yeah, the problem is, are all defenders always going to be fit at the same time? I think Alex Pearce is pretty much out of the question now, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he was shocking against Doncaster, and he isn't the sort of player we have as a footballing team. Johnson, Barmer, O'Toole, Brown. I mean, they can all play a little bit of football, and Lewis, obviously. So it's a tough one for me. But if we play like that again with wingbacks, I can't see us not playing a back three of probably Barmer, Lewis, and Johnson.
Yeah. I'd like
the only thing is with Barmer that does annoy me sometimes is every now and then I feel like I need to mix up the long throws. Shouldn't be doing long throws all the time. It's just sometimes it's a little bit too predictable for teams, to come to us and we've got a long throw specialist, who's going to be chucking them in at us. So
I don't really think we've done enough from them as well, to be honest.
Yeah. We ain't got much height up front, have we? Got Boogle, that's really about it. Yeah, we're quite a small squad, really.
Exactly. We are. Let's move on to the next. We're going to do two defenders at the moment, O'Toole and Lee Brown. Hector, let's start with you. Talk about O'Toole and then talk about Brown. How do you think those two played? I thought they were absolutely brilliant, to be honest.
You know what? Seeing O'Toole in that starting lineup really surprised me. And then him to play centre-back also really surprised me. And then again, to see him play that well really surprised me again. He was incredible. He was so solid at the back. I mean, I would say he was our second or third best player on the pitch. He was so good. I would give him about a 9.5 out of 10. I think I'd start him again. In defence and not in midfield. I think I'd switch him to a centre-back.
Definitely. What about Brown?
He was good. And then especially he got the assist as well. That surprised me. I don't know what he was doing all the way up there, but, that's Brown when he feels like it.
Exactly.
But yeah, he was pretty solid as well. I think there's nothing to complain about our defence in that game. It was very solid, very good. So I'll give him an 8 out of 10.
Perfect. Kian, what about yourself? O'Toole and Brown. I think Brown's done superbly well, maybe except from that Mansfield mistake for their goal, where he just tried to like chest it away or something. But yeah, they both put in a massive shift, especially O'Toole coming in. Hasn't played a full 90 in ages, especially for Mansfield. I think he played about 15 minutes of football in the season before coming to us. So he's pretty much like tripled that, quadrupled that. How do you think those two played the start of O'Toole?
I mean, with O'Toole, he completely surprised me really, because he did look all right when he came on for a few minutes for like the last 3 games or whatever. But then I didn't really see him as a long-term project for this season. I just saw him as just keeping the numbers high, keeping the depth high for the squad. But I mean, now he's completely changed my mindset on him, and that I feel he's definitely going to start until Johnson or Lewis is back, or mainly Lewis, I would say. But I mean, rating wise, I would definitely give him an 8.9, because he had to work very hard to do well against a strong MK side this season. So definitely an 8.9, and I would say he's joint man in the match with Bugle for me.
What about Brown?
Brown, I would say, because with Brown, because he's in a usual left back position, he has to work that little bit harder than our centre backs, because he's not exactly the tallest compared to people like Lewis and Johnson, so he just has to work that little bit harder. And I feel that he definitely actually gives us a bit of an attacking threat compared to like Johnson, for example, because Johnson's more of a defensive orientated centre back, you could say. So I would definitely give him, like Barmer, an 8.1-ish as well. Solid performance by Brown.
Exactly. I think everyone had a solid performance. Scott, let's move on to the wing-backs. We played a wing-backs of Curry on the left, Newville on the right. 2 questions. Both of them, how did they play? And for Grimsby, would you start the same defence, or would you change up, go to maybe a 4 at the back?
Newville shocked me completely. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, he's just come back from injury. He had 10 minutes last week up front. So he's gone from coming off the bench up front to going right wing back against a team in the playoffs, and he did exceptionally well. Jack Curry, for me, every single week he's always in the top 2 players for probably the best players on pitch, isn't he? He let like a salmon in it against the bar as well.
I don't know how he jumped that high.
Yes, the thing is with Jack, he's an incredible defender, but I think sometimes he's got something in his locker going forward as well. He can come in at the back post, and like you say, it was that combination that hit the bar, Newville cross onto Curry's head and nearly scored from it. So both of them, for me, absolutely exceptional. I mean, Jack Curry is always an 8.5 out of 10 in my eyes, but Newville just playing out of position and doing what he did yesterday. He was a cross between Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Bukayo Saka yesterday. It was ridiculous to see. He for me, he's up there. He's up there with a good 8.5.
Would you start with the same defence for Grimsby, or would you change up?
I'd change it up for the pure fact Grimsby is struggling for points, and they're going to come to Plough Lane, and they're going to, 2 banks of 4, break us down if you can. Yeah. So I would, unfortunately, you usually say don't change winning side, but I think we need to go in with a bit more of an attacking mind. We didn't create loads yesterday, and it was a dogged performance. We didn't create enough though. They're going to come here and shut up shop pretty early. So, unfortunately, I think they'll play, but I don't think we'll be playing 5 at the back on Tuesday night. Hopefully, Johnny Jackson might turn around and say, "You know what, Scott, you're wrong. I'm gaffer at Wimbledon, and 3 points 5 at the back." But personally, I think we need to go be a bit more creative and a bit more attacking.
Yeah, 100%. Hector, moving on to you. Same question. The wing-backs, I thought they were both brilliant yesterday. How do you think Newville and Curry played?
I thought Newville was amazing. Best game all season. Best game he's ever played. I really didn't expect him to be that good because he can't attack. I don't really expect him to be able to defend. He put in some amazing tackles, which saved us from them having some massive chances. And it just really shocked me. And I think I'll play him there again. I don't think I'd ever play him up front ever again. I don't think that was as stupid as him wanting to do that last week. But Jack Curry again, he's just so consistently incredible. He's so solid, and then as Scott said, he does have something up top. He can occasionally go up and then appear at the back post and do something. He's done that a couple of times. And he's really good with going forward, and he's so composed on the ball, and he's so solid at the back as well. So it's just incredible. Yeah.
When he leaves, if he leaves in the summer, I'm gonna cry.
He will leave. That's when he finished uni, isn't it, this year? So he's gonna go.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna leave and he's gone.
Crazy. We will see. I think that's another topic to talk about in the next months to come. Let's move on to the midfield. It's so good to see the Reeves and Little combination back. Kian, I think we really missed Jake Reeves in the middle, and he also did that little flick over that MK player. I don't know who it was, but yeah, he did that little flick over their player leading up to the goal. And yeah, I don't think a lot of Wimbledon players can do that. That's the class of Jake Reeves. Kian, how did Reeves and Little play, and how good is it to see them back two together?
I mean, I feel like I completely every game you completely expect them to play as well as they did in the MK game. Really, their partnership is something to admire in League Two. I feel that when we had only Little in the starting 11 without Reeves, I feel like the team just didn't work as well as it usually did, like with our previous matches and our bad run of form. But I mean, with them back together, I feel like the team just works so much better together. We've got the captain back with Reeves; he just commands the team, and then we still have Little, which I feel like, I don't know if he's vice captain or not, but he definitely has that leadership mindset, where the team just works together really.
Exactly, 100%. Scott, Mr. Colin Mant, he always describes Reeves as the pointer. He always points people into position. He did that really well yesterday as well. How good is it to see Reeves and Little back, and how do you think they both played?
Yeah, it was great. Last week wasn't so great. I don't think Reeves was anywhere near fit enough to play last Saturday. Yesterday he was like a man possessed. He was back to his normal self. Reeves has got the class. He's got the leadership skills. And Armani Little, he's got the engine that he ain't going to stop running. He ain't going to start ratting. And yesterday we needed two midfielders to get in the face of their players, put them under pressure at all times. And yeah, they did that, and they were absolutely quality yesterday. I mean, I like James Ball, but James Ball would not have been at it in the face like them two are. They're little rats, but they're little rats with a lot of quality, and that's what we needed yesterday.
Exactly. Now let's finish off and talk about the Freemen up top. I see there's some things in the private chat, but we won't go into that conversation again. Hector, let's go to you. Let's talk about Tilly, Kelly, and Bugle. I don't think Tilly had the best game. He had a decent opportunity in the first half, but I just want his start of season form back when Ali wasn't scoring. Kelly played okay, and Bugle, my man of the match, 100%. How do you think those three played up top?
Yeah, Bugle was immense. He was, even though he was getting bullied, but he was immense. He was all over them. He had them on strings. After the game, he went into the changing rooms. He emptied his pockets, and he had all the defenders in his pockets. It was incredible. He was winning every header. He was running at them. He's just so good. I saw something on Twitter that said he's arguably the best player in the league, which, that's a different conversation. But I thought Tilly was, again, I thought he was mediocre. I didn't think he was amazing. I thought he's had better games, and I think he's still not at his form that he was last season, start of the season. And then with Kelly again, he looked a little bit off it. Like, did we give him the full 90?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Johnny listened to that, which is good. He gave him the full 90 for once, but I just think he didn't ever look like scoring that game. He didn't really have any clear-cut chances. So I don't really know about Kelly. I think he might just need a goal to be put on a plate for him that he can just tap in. That might bring a little bit of confidence on him. But yeah, didn't really think much of Kelly, but Bugle absolutely immense.
Exactly. Scott, what about yourself?
Yeah,
Tilly, Kelly.
Bugle, unbelievable. Kelly played a bit of a different role yesterday, I thought. I don't think he was an out-and-out winger or anything like that. I think he mainly played on like the left of the diamond. It was like Jake Reeves sitting, Armine a little towards the right, Tilly on the left, and not Bugle, and then Kelly up top. So yeah, it was Bugle's absolutely incredible. I feel like Kelly just needs one to go off his arse, and then he'll get going. You know, we looked at Ali Al-Hamadi at the start of the season, couldn't score, and then he got one, and that was it. Then unleashed the beast. So Kelly's got the tempo that we need, though. He's a mobile striker, very quick, and he was setting the press for us. And him and Bugle, you say defend from the front, and that's exactly what they do. Omar Bugle, absolutely immense yesterday. I mean, you can't not love the man. You can't not love the man. You know, pushing their player over at the end. You know, Omar Bugle for me is man of the match. You know, everybody could be man of the match, but Omar Bugle was fantastic. And Tilly was okay yesterday. Actually, he's had a very few poor weeks for us. He's been out.
Yeah,
haven't really seen what he's been doing. He haven't really done much. You know, we had a decent effort yesterday that was saved, but yeah, it might be a new role for him. Obviously, the diamond worked for us when we had the lemon, obviously. So maybe he can just try and, you know, develop his game into that sort of position instead of an out-and-out winger maybe for us.
Exactly. I agree. Now, let's finally talk about, before we move on to the next topic, let's talk about the goal. Ronan Curtis came on for pretty much the clutch moment. He just has that little bit more of class than any of the attackers, just to feed off scraps, put the ball in the back of the net. Who should we go to? Let's go to Hector. Hector, talk me through that 94th minute winner, and how important is Curtis to the squad? Because I think I saw a post on Twitter saying he's picked up 2 yellow cards for us, and they're both for taking his shirt off in a celebration.
I mean, every time he's come on, he looks so bright. He's looked like a game changer for us. He scored 2 last-minute winners. He's just so impactful when he comes on. And that last-minute winner yesterday, it just felt so good. And I think it was quite lucky that it fell to him.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Bugle left it. Their defender just miskicked it completely. Well, he just missed the ball. But, you know, him being there and making the impact he has when he comes on last minute is just amazing, and the feeling when that goal went in was unlike anything else. It was incredible.
It really was. If I could relive that moment 100 times, I would, because I was like, my phone got a little broke. I was falling downstairs. Pyro went off in front of us. It was it was absolutely brilliant. Kian, you were in the south stand, a little bit different to us in the east, giving it the big one to the franchise fans. What was it like in the south stand? The best scenes you've seen?
Definitely. Best match I've been to for Wimbledon since I started supporting them. I mean, the scenes in the South Stand were absolute jubilation. It's like bodies were flying everywhere. People were crying. People were hugging. I was hugging random blokes that I'd never seen in my life. But it was, you know, the best feeling ever that, you know, we could finally beat them at Plough Lane where we returned. But, I mean, yeah, absolutely immense. I feel like Ronan Curtis definitely got a bit lucky to get on the end of that weird cross by Brown, because it definitely wasn't the best cross, but it did its job, especially because that centre-back just completely missed the ball. So, you know, great assist. But, yeah, no, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing feeling. But I've also heard from external sources that the match they uncovered has now been released for the MK game.
Has it actually?
Yeah.
I will be
Reese,
watching that when we finish. Sorry?
If you read the private chat, you would know.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I see it now. That's absolutely beautiful. Okay.
The worst of us.
I will be watching that when we finish the podcast. Scott, it's been 7 years since we beat the franchise at home. Well, it was at Kings Meadow, but it's been 7 years since you beat the franchise nonetheless. What does it mean for you, and what does it mean for the whole club and the fans and everyone, volunteers, whoever? What does it mean?
I mean, my mate came yesterday. He's not a Wimbledon fan at all. He came yesterday, and he says you can see how much it meant to the club. Every single person that has put time and effort into the club to get it back to where it wanted to be, that's not just this. It's not just the fans. It's people behind closed doors, working the socks off to get back to where we were. It was just every single emotion went into it. I mean, I'll get goosebumps every time I start talking about it. To be fair, it was the best moment of my life watching Wimbledon. My first ever game years and years ago, my dad took me to watch me at Derby County. It was my first ever game. And I thought then, wow, this is incredible. And I didn't think I'd ever find anything better than that first moment going to watch Wimbledon. And yesterday, I experienced the most emotional roller coaster ever, from the jubilations, then missing a absolute sitter, and then 30 seconds later, you just knew as soon as it dropped to Ronan Curtis, I was already celebrating. He's got that sort of experience and know-how to pop up in them sort of positions. He just read it, and maybe the Pompey link-up play between him and Brown maybe have come back to fruition there for us. As soon as it went in, I mean, I'd gone. I was running down the netting, trying to chase the plays up. Somebody grabbed me back. It was the best. It's the best day of my life. And you got Johnny in the pub after in the Phoenix. You've got players, fans singing outside the stadium, singing inside the stadium at the end of the game. I mean, people singing in the corner pin at the end of the game. It was just ridiculous. I mean, I've never gone back from a football match and smiled all the way home, and knowing that I'm going to sleep like an absolute baby when I get home. Because the week before, I didn't sleep like a baby at all. I was so riled up from not just the game, other things as well. But that was from the reaction of last week to this week is an absolute joke. We were brilliant, and everybody that's part of Wimbledon would have shed a tear at some point. 100%. I mean, how could you not?
Exactly. To be honest, I didn't even see the ball hit the net. I just heard people celebrating. Honestly, it was it was the best experience I've ever had. Hector, same question goes to you. What does it mean for you, your own experiences? This is really heartwarming. I feel like I'm going to cry in a minute, because it's I don't know. Everyone's just been I don't know. It's just very special to the club and everyone, all the fans. Hector, what does it mean to you, and what does it mean for the club?
It means so much. As soon as that ball hit the back of the net, I'm standing on a chair and I just jump forward. So I apologise to anybody that I landed on, but I went down about 3 rows for, that goal. It just meant so much, because to get to the position that we are now from when we started after they fucking stole it, and then and to play at Plough Lane, 200 yards away from where the old Wimbledon played, to beat them in our own backyard in the last minute in that fashion was just incredible. I mean, you could see how much it meant. Everyone is running down the front. I've never seen half these people before, and I was given the tightest hug of my life. It was just mental. I got up and I just ran down the stairs to the front, and I just started hugging random people. And then,
I hugged a steward.
Steward trying to stop me, but you can see there's so many people that just in tears. I just hugging everyone. You could see how much it meant, and to the the coaching and team staff as well. They all ran down to the corner as well. Even Rocket, the kit man, ran down and was in that pile in the corner. But you could just see how much it means, and hopefully now this is a turn where we can start to beat them a little bit more.
Yeah,
occasionally.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, we'll see next season if they go up, if we go up. To be honest, I want to play them again so we can just beat them, to be honest. But that links quite well to the next question. The last question before we move on to our busy schedule of Grimsby and Notts County. Where do we go from now? Because we need to start pushing on. We've got a tough end of the season, a tough month in March, and then a tough end to the end of the season in April. Kian, where do we go from now? Do you think the momentum will push on, and will we start seeing more wins towards the end of the season?
I mean, sadly, I've seen many teams that have, won their derby/rivalry game or whatever, and then they end up, just continuing the poor form there before they just turned up on the day. But I don't think that will be us. I think we will continue the form, to be honest. I feel that, with Barmer back, with Tool now being introduced into the squad, I feel that, we're going to keep up the momentum. We're going to beat Grimsby and Notts County. That's what I think. I think we'll be ambitious. I think we will. I think the players will be riled up for the rest of the season. They might be tired for the Tuesday night game, or I feel like we might get a draw, but they definitely should be riled up from that Saturday game.
Exactly. Scott, do you agree with Kim?
I'm going to say no to everything right now because last time I was on the podcast, I was like, we're on the roll now. We're going to go to Accrington. We're going to beat Crawley. And then we're going to go on a run with Doncaster. And then we're going to beat the franchise. I said all that. And then yesterday, I put no to winning. I said we ain't going to beat them. So every time I'm going to say no, and we're going to lose. So I'm going to say we're going to lose Tuesday. We're going to lose Saturday.
And we're not going to get promoted.
And there you go. And all three
are going down.
Well, personally, I think we need to be a bit more creative Tuesday night. I think they're going to come with a short shot. I think we'll win away at Notts County. I'm going to say we're not, but we will. They're very open, and they play quite open, expansive football. And against us, they came at our place and was very open. And I think that's the game that Josh Kelly's going to get his first goal. So I think they'll just be too open for us. And we're not going to get 6 points.
They've got a very leaky defence, Notts County, as well. I think they've conceded like 70 goals already, which is something.
I mean, if you're conceding 4 goals to Sutton at home, I mean, it ain't looking great, is it? Let's be honest. So hopefully we can go there and get another win against them. Obviously, it was a very good win at home against them. Getting 4 goals past them. So fingers crossed. But I'm going to say we're going to lose both on the trot.
Oh,
but I don't mean it.
Yeah, exactly. As we have now finished talking about Milton Keynes at home, what a day it was. I had a very exclusive interview with the man, the myth, the legend, Ivor Heller. It was really good, 20-minute interview with him. Talked about his personal achievements, talked about where he sees Wimbledon will be in the next 5-10 years, his favourite moments, how important the Milton Keynes game was for him and the fans, the volunteers and everything. And now we will move on to that interview. We have now been joined by the absolute legend, Ivor Heller. Ivor, first questions for you. How are you and how are you feeling, especially after yesterday's amazing result?
Well, drink of water because my mouth keeps going dry after that yesterday. What an amazing moment. Football's made up of moments. And that yesterday was by far our best moment yet at Plough Lane. Since we had fans back in, and as a moment in time, it's up there in the top few. I can't put them into a proper order or whatever, but that's a moment that will change lives. That moment. There'll be some people there yesterday, and I've met some today. One person, it was their first ever game. Yesterday.
Wow, what a game to start off with!
Yeah, that's right. And I said, "Don't worry, it's all downhill after that." But they understand what it means now. They understand what big things happening with the football club mean. And that result yesterday, I mean, you're an awful lot younger than me, so I hate you. No, I don't. You're a lot younger than me, and when you are my age, you will remember that. Mm-hmm. There's no way you won't remember that. You'll remember it, and then you might even remember talking to this old so and so afterwards for a minute and go, "Cool, I wonder what he'd have made of this next moment that we've had, another moment that we've had."
Yeah.
So amazing times, amazing. I didn't go to makeup before this recording.
I saw. Well, we were celebrating. We were hugging so many people. There was people in tears. Were you one of them? Were you in tears yesterday, Ivor?
I wouldn't say I was in tears because at the time, our match ball sponsors yesterday were the All England Lawn Tennis Club, the foundation of the tennis, and they've got Billy Lewis, who's a well-known fan of ours, who's was sitting not that far, a few rows in front. And he got up, and he's big. Bill he's a big wide leg one way and another, and he crushed me. and along with Pietro and a couple of others joining in, there was this massive huddle, and all I was worried about was fighting for breath. To be honest with you, it was incredible. It was incredible. So the emotions, I saw stars. I can't tell you how it felt. I've checked. I wear a Fitbit these days, so I checked my heart rate, and that was the one moment that it got to 136. So it was. Yeah. I would say it was a significant moment, but tears. I won't say that I was in tears, but elation beyond imagination. Fantastic.
It really was.
Yeah.
Well, when we started at Wimbledon, I feel like we've been building up to the moment at Plough Lane ever since we had our club taken away or stolen, however people may see it. We had the trials back in 2002 on Wimbledon Common, getting back into the Football League in Manchester, beating Plymouth at Wembley, and now beating the franchise at Plough Lane. What does that result mean for you, as obviously you've been a Wimbledon fan for so many years, a lot longer than me, obviously.
Over 50 years.
Yeah.
Over 50 years. So what where does that sit on the Richter scale of wins? Oh, it's way up there. There's no doubt about it. But then, when we beaten 2-0 at Kings Meadow, that was way up there. No
7 years ago.
About that. Yeah. It feels like it's been a long time between drinks.
Yeah.
A very, very long time. And I'm slightly, I would have wanted us to have beaten them more than we have, and that's really annoying. But it is what it is. And we have to, I look at that yesterday, and I hope it's so as a watershed moment. As we've proved now we can beat anyone at Plough Lane.
Exactly.
We've proved that without any doubt. We beat Coventry earlier on in the season in the League Cup game, which I thought was a big significant moment for us.
Yeah.
They were a playoff side last year. They were widely tipped to challenge this year. They've got a multi-million-pound squad, and we beat them. And we beat them fair and square.
Yeah.
There's no argument there. And then we've had other notable results this season at home. When we beat Notts County when they were bang on form. We beat them. We beaten Barrow. Mansfield in particular was a biggie. And then you go and beat them, and that's just fantastic. Just fantastic.
Really
we exceeded our points total from last season with 11 games to go, 6 of them at home. If we can get ourselves on a proper run now, who knows what's going to happen.
Exactly. And we got Notts County next Saturday as well. That's going to be an interesting one. I wanted to talk about your favourite moments in the past, however long you've supported Wimbledon. Talk me through, let's say, top 3 Wimbledon moments. It can be 20 years ago, recently, whatever. What do you think?
Okay, so I'm gonna pull out 3 of them.
Okay,
although it's really unfair to do 3 because there were other things that were massive.
You can talk through more if you want.
Yeah, the ones that affected me personally, that the one moment that I think got me to the point where it's just like, this is absolutely it for me. I will never look for another football club. And I love this whole everything. Was in 1974. I know it seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it? But that was when we played Bath City in the FA Cup first round. And at 92nd minute, Mickey Mann, absolute rocket. First time I'd been in a massive crowd at Plough Lane. There was all sorts of shenanigans going on that day. There was a massive atmosphere. Other games were called off in London. It was just, it was utter carnage. And we won 1-0. And I always say that to me is the start of the Wimbledon story.
Yes.
If we hadn't have won that game, then we wouldn't have had the big FA Cup run that year. And then, of course, you got what came out of that was beating Burnley away. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And then drawing with Leeds at Leeds, who were the league champions.
Yeah,
they were Premier League champions, and a few months later they were in the European Cup final. And that that's just insane. It's insane. You can't see you can't see a conference team now that, National League, as I should say, going up to Man City anytime soon, drawing with them, losing 1-0 in the replay in the same year as they win the league and go and win the Champions League. It's insane.
Yeah.
So, that Bath City one is right up there. Then, of course, you've got to talk about the FA Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
For those of us that were lucky to be there, I mean, I was, like 24 at the time. That was utterly amazing. Just amazing. What a great, you can't, that was the moment. That was just an amazing thing. And obviously there's also the, beating Huddersfield to get into the first division, the Premier League. That was a thing. Doing the double over Manchester United, beating Chelsea 4-0 at Chelsea. These are moments that stay with you forever. You never forget them. But the FA Cup final that day, that has to be up there in my top 3.
Yeah.
Then the other one, although there have been lots of amazing days, and I think that in the AFC Wimbledon story, there are several key moments.
Mm-hmm.
Winning it away at Staines to get promoted out of the Ryman League, that was a moment. That was something else.
100%.
That was delirium going on, but that was part of a journey that I thought we were going on anyway. So as much as it was so critical to our journey now, I think that I don't think it's the most, I don't put it in the top 3, but it's mighty close. It's very important. The last one of my top 3 was Manchester.
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it?
Yeah. So for me, this is all very personal, and I think it is all very, having been involved with the club right at the start, as we were, and you could count on one hand the amount of games I've missed by then. And it's impossible to explain, really. We'd set ourselves these ridiculous targets. Everyone said they were ridiculous targets, but they weren't. They were realistic.
Yeah.
To get back into the league in 10 years, that was people going, "Oh, you're mad! You should never say that." Blah blah blah. We haven't got the money, man, to pay for it, but we knew we could do it. I was always confident we could do it. So were other people. Really, it was amazing, and we did. We did it. We did that, and on that day, our preparation was so brilliant, and I saw it all at very close hand, and I was so grateful for this. Really, so Terry Brown, who's a wonderful man who actually sent me a message before the game and after the game. Absolutely loved that man.
Legend.
An absolute legend. What he did, after we lost to Crawley in the league, and it became quite apparent that we couldn't win the league, he then, I think it was about 6 weeks out when we thought we're probably not going to win this, but we're going to get there in the playoffs. Him and Cashy did the best 6 weeks management I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. Every single thing that they could think of, that they could do, every single little advantage, every single day in training, everything was aimed at the playoffs.
Yeah.
Every single thing we did was aimed at the playoffs. And it was no surprise to me that we went on this fantastic run that saw us finish second in the league. But we'd gotten a pretty invincible feel about us one way and another by the time we came to the playoffs. And then, we played Fleetwood in the 2-legger. And I mean, we absolutely battered Fleetwood senseless. I still think that the 2-0 away performance is one of the best performances I've ever seen of any Wimbledon team.
Yeah.
So Brown and Cashy had left nothing, no stone unturned. And by the time we came to go to Manchester, there was a massive belief in the squad, even though we were huge underdogs,
Yeah.
Luton were, a much bigger budget than us with bigger name players. And all the way around. But we had something there. They had an organisation, a spirit in the camp that was unreal.
And now you look at Luton. Now they're in the Premier League.
Yeah. That's it. That's incredible. But they've always been able to do things with much more money than us. They were, even in the conference, they were getting 7, 8, 9,000s. We were struggling to get 4,000s. And you couldn't get many more in at Plough. So that they had more resources than us, without any shadow of a doubt. And they had gone from being a championship club to a National League club in a short space of time, but they still had parts of that setup, you see. So we were very much growing. They had shrunk, but it was easy for them to grow back into it. So they had many more advantages over us. One of the master strokes that Brownie came up with was making sure that we booked a training session on the ground at the City of Manchester Stadium. Yeah. And Luton didn't do that.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure that that's common knowledge. There's also a little thing up there that Manchester City don't like Luton very much.
Interesting.
Well, that goes back, and you can do your homework on this, but people of my kind of generation will remember it, that Luton played Man City on the final day of the season and sent City down and stayed up themselves. And David Pleat, their then manager, went dancing across the pitch at Main Road, and which I think is quite understandable, but City never, ever forgave them. So from the minute that we got there were people saying to us, "Come on, Wimbledon, we need you to win tomorrow." We don't like Luton. Football fans have long memories, right?
They do.
So I think we got the best of everything as a consequence. Luton didn't take part in a training session up there. The rest, as they say, that was a wave of emotion like I don't think I've ever known. When that penalty went.
I wanted to touch on the Wimbledon of the present and the future. Obviously, we have a massive achievement getting back to Plough Lane. We're getting pretty much double the attendances at Kings Meadow, pretty much around 8,000. Where do you see Wimbledon in the next 5-10 years? I think we're growing day by day. What do you think?
Yeah, and days like yesterday seriously help. By the way, I think that I've never put limits on this football club. It's the same as when I was a little lad. I started going non-league football, and then all of a sudden we found ourselves in the league. And I've got a witness that will tell you that I said within 10 years we'll be in the first division and we'll win the FA Cup, and we did.
Well, there you go.
So I'm never going to put a limit on anything. But what do I see? I see a sustainable growth with the football club. I can see us managing our debts quite cleverly and quite well, because we always seem to be able to do that one way or another. And I think that there's a great possibility for the club to slowly but surely morph into a League One club that is capable of staying in League One. And then we will start to work towards having a crack at the league above. We need things to go right for us. Of course we do, the same as everybody does. Little bit of luck, a couple more players like Ali Al-Hamadi signing for us, and us doing really well with that sort of thing will help. Some of the lads that we've already sold getting resold, and us getting a tasty sell on, that can all help us. And I'm absolutely certain there's at least 3 out there that are going to do that. Some of the young lads that sign for Premier League clubs, they sign contracts where we get money as they get successful. We've got a few of those out there. So I see the chance to stabilise, manage our finances, and then slowly but surely hit the jackpot.
Perfect. That sounds brilliant. I've got 2 final questions. I wanted to touch on Wimbledon more in the community. Obviously, you told me today that you're at DLAG, which I think they're absolutely outstanding. And I think a lot of people might not know how to get involved. How important is DLAG and Wimbledon fans that are helping out in the community, and how can they get involved with them and help out?
Well, one of the things I've always said, which I believe fervently, and again, what I saw today, I'm very proud that I'm becoming an ambassador for D-Leg.
Yeah.
And what I saw today was, I don't know how many people in all, probably 200 people, volunteers for D-Leg. And the amount of them that have started following the football club and go to matches now that had never been, some of them had never been to football.
Yeah.
But they're now involved with us. They call themselves the Dons. They are the Dons, and the council, when I do community stuff with the council and I meet those people, the amount of times that people come up to me and say, the Dons did something for us the other day. That's
so
me. That's just gives me a massive warm glow, because the way D-Leg was started was very similar to the way we started the club. A group of people got together and said, let's do this, of which, they were all very different characters, but one way and another, they started something that just went boom. And now we've got the most fantastic community arm to us that knows no bounds. So, they've got a website, Don's Local Action Group. They're always after volunteers. We need as much help as we can get, but, do it, get involved, because it will give you the greatest, and it's so needed. The community so needs it, and your communities on our doorstep that are in serious poverty.
Yeah,
anyone can make a difference. Literally anyone.
It's so worth it as well. Like, I went there for 2 days, I believe, a couple months ago, and the amount of effort people put in from like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. or something like that, they're just volunteering, and it's just the amount of effort they put in is crazy, and it's so helpful to the community. Like, we went round to the local stores, local houses, dropping off stuff, and it was just brilliant to see. My final question for you, I wanted to ask you more of a personal question. I believe you've now got the Freedom of Merton, which is absolutely amazing. And my dad said, apparently, he wanted me to put this in, that apparently he said that you can go into any house and go to the toilet, which I think is an interesting one. I wanted to know about what the Freedom of Merton involves, and what does that mean to you? Is it a massive achievement to you?
Look, I couldn't get a greater award ever than the Freedom of the Borough of Merton. I grew up in Merton. I live in Merton, and it is my community, and I like to do as much as I can within that community. So first of all, it's the hugest honour, but there's a lot of other people that help me to I received that honour on a lot of people's behalf, in my opinion. But what does it entitle me to? That was my joke about being a knock on any door and borrow their toilet. Although I think that would be quite a good thing. I think the actual thing is I'm allowed to drive my sheep up Merton High Street. I think that's the main thing, really. Whereas I think that I can use Plough Lane to let them graze. I can graze my sheep on Plough Lane and hold that kick off on a Saturday. It's a great honour, and I'm very flattered, and I'm quite pleased.
Well done to you, Ivor. Thank you very much for joining us on the podcast. You've been brilliant, and thank you so much, Ivor.
Well done to you, and just to something for everybody out there. Yesterday was special. Bottle it, remember it, never forget it, because we beat them, we put them in their place, and now it's onwards and upwards. Come on, you Dons.
Never forgive, never forget. Ivor, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you. Cheers, Reese. Bye-bye.
Well, let's move on to the first game of the week. We have Grimsby Town at home. Last time out was a 0-0 draw. Ali Al-Hamadi missed a penalty, first game of the season. I actually thought they looked okay in that game, but they have had a very disappointing season. They sit 21st in the table, 6 points off the relegation zone. Just going to read out their last 5 games. A 0-0 draw with Accrington away from home. Then they had 2 games on the trot. They had 2 home games on the trot, sorry. They lost 3-1 to Stockport and then got demolished 5-1 against Doncaster, which is crazy. They drew 1-1 with Morecambe, and then they finally won a game beating Forest Green at home 1-0 yesterday on Saturday. Hector, I feel like this is I don't know what's going to happen in this one. I thought they were quite good in the first game of the season. I thought if you picked a team who, obviously it was 0-0, but I feel like they were the team that maybe could have nicked it. They had more shots on goal, more of the possession. Will it be different this time? What do you think will happen?
You know, if you just look at the table and see their position and say it'll be piss easy, you'll be wrong. Because, you know, obviously tonight, yet last night after the win, the boys will be on the piss. I think that's quite evident they were. And I think I don't think it will be very easy. I think it will be quite a tough game, especially because we never turn up. We haven't turned up a single time on a Tuesday night this season. You know, we always get battered on a Tuesday night. And we always play our worst on Tuesday night. So I'm not really looking forward to it. And especially after, you know, delivering such an incredible performance on Saturday, I really hope they can do the same on Tuesday and not just, you know, turn up once and think the fans will be happy for the rest of the season and then go on holiday. I hope they see it as that game as an opportunity to be back in the promotion race, back in the race for playoffs, you know, push harder and harder for the whole season to come.
Exactly. Kian, is that pretty much the same opinion for you?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, with Grimsby, they're quite a dire side at the moment, to be honest. I mean, losing 5-1 to Doncaster, I know we lost 1-0 to them, but I didn't exactly turn up on the day. But losing 5-1 to them and watching how Doncaster played, even though they beat us 1-0, they were terrible. They were not a good side at all. And obviously, I think they lost. Did they lose? How much did they lose by to Stockport?
So they lost 3-1 to Stockport, and then the following game at home, they lost 5-1 to Doncaster.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, conceding eight goals in 2 games, you know, it isn't exactly great. We've obviously done it before. I'm not going to say we haven't. But, I mean, it's just we really need to beat them just to keep up in the race and to keep up our momentum.
Exactly. Very, very true. Scott, Grimsby have got some decent players, a little bit of a leaky defence. They've got Danny Rose, he scored 12 goals, 3 assists. Isa, 9 goals, 3 assists. Do you think they'll hurt us? I don't know. It's a little bit of a tough one. What do you think will happen on Tuesday?
Yeah, it's whether they want to come and get 3 points, whether they want to come and get a point. You know, and that Isa is very, very tricky player at times. So if you don't really want to see him one-on-one against one of our centre halves because it could end up going the way that they want it to go instead of us. I mean, we love to say that we go out and just, you know, really dominate the game. I think we dominated the game against Crawley for good, 65 minutes, but we're just lacking goals at the moment. That's what's my worry. You know, you say about like them shipping 5 against Doncaster and stuff. So hopefully, we can, go out and try and get our scoring boots on and start scoring again. Fingers crossed, keep a clean sheet. It's good foundation all the time, isn't it? You get a clean sheet and then hopefully go and grab a goal again. But with Curtis, we've got a little bit of quality. I mean, maybe come off the bench again. He may start. He's probably more than likely will start on Tuesday night. But like Hector says, we haven't really performed on a Tuesday night, and then we didn't perform at Gillingham away on a Tuesday night either, did we? So hopefully we can turn up, get 3 points, and then move on to Notts County.
Let's hope so. Hector, what do you think will happen? And do you think, so obviously the lineup was very different against MK. Will that change? And if it does, who will come out? Who will come in? And what do you think will happen in the game on Tuesday?
As I say, never change your winning side. You hear that a lot, but I don't know. It's really hard to say because we played so well with that side.
Yeah. And
if we played that side again and we played like we did, we'd obviously we would win again, definitely. But yeah, I reckon we should start with that same side. I think especially with Josh Newville where he played, I think he was brilliant, and I think he'd definitely do brilliant there again. There's no reason that he wouldn't. So yeah, I think I would start exactly the same as we did.
Interesting. Kian, is that the same for you? What do you think will happen?
For Notts County?
Grimsby.
Grimsby. You already asked, haven't you?
Nope.
Have you not? Oh, okay.
No.
With the Grimsby game, I mean, you have.
The lineup.
Oh, the lineup.
You must.
All right, yeah. With the lineup, I feel like Hector said about changing the winner side, it might not be the right way to go. Really, I feel that Grimsby can hurt you if they want to. Obviously, they haven't performed well recently, but except from that, win against Forest Green, which, you know, it isn't that big of a result. But, I mean, yeah, I feel that I would definitely keep the same players, but I would say I would change the formation personally.
Yeah. Can I all have your, before we move on to Notts County, can I all have your score predictions for Grimsby at home on Tuesday? Kian, let's start with you.
I mean, I hope it's 3.
Scorers, please.
Okay, I hope it's 3-0, but I'm going to go 2-1. No, 2-0. 2-0. I'm going to say scorers will be Bugle and Armani Little from outside the box.
Interesting. Scott, what about yourself?
Snatch and grab 1-0. Get out of there. Yeah, so Ronan Curtis again. I feel like he's the only one that's got a bit of class about him in front of goal.
Yeah, I do agree. Hector, what about yourself?
Grimsby Town 0, AFC Wimbledon 0.
Oh, it's going to be no scorers. That's boring.
Yeah, boring.
As we have now finished talking about Grimsby, and then we have a tough trip up to Notts County, even though they leak goals. I think we can hopefully do the double over them. Last time out was a 4-2 win at Plough Lane. A player that is unfortunately not with us anymore. He got 2 goals, Ali Al-Hamadi, and then Jake Reeves scored 2 penalties. It was such a good atmosphere and everything. They're a pretty good squad, even though their defence is a little bit leaky. Sorry, they have players up top like Langstaff, McGoldrick, Jody Jones, Crowley. They've got a very, very good squad. Scott, let's start with yourself. What's going to happen at Notts County?
Well, they've got to turn up, haven't they? They haven't turned up for the last 3 or 4 weeks. You know, they've lost to Sutton, like we said a few moments ago. I mean, shipping 4 goals against bottom of the league isn't great for any side, is it?
Yeah.
So they're going to come out hammer and tongs, I think. I don't know if they've got a game on Tuesday night. No, they haven't.
They do not.
No, they haven't. So they've got a well-deserved break because they didn't play over the weekend either because of Bradford City's pigsty of a pitch. So,
how is that even acceptable in the EFL?
It's absolutely shocking. But looking at recent times, they lost to Mansfield, they've lost to Gillingham, they've lost to Wrexham and Crewe, and all these teams are in and around the playoffs and promotion push. So they've hit a bit of a blip recently. So hopefully we can capitalise on that and go and get 3 points there. We're going to have to be on our A game again. We're going to have to turn up and play like we did on Saturday. And hopefully we can get a few goals in past them and take 3 points away from Meadow Lane.
Let's hope so. I think the last time we played there, we won as well. That was in our promotion campaign.
Tom Elliott was an absolute monster that day. He was unbelievable, or literally unplayable.
That goal that he scored was crazy, I swear.
Yeah, he was an absolute worldie, but he was unplayable that day.
You absolutely love to see it. Hector, let's move on to you. Notts County away on Saturday. We've also nearly sold around 1,000 tickets. Let's hopefully, if we have a successful game against Grimsby, that'll go even up. What do you think will happen against Notts County, and what are you expecting from the atmosphere as well? It's going to be a good set of travelling fans for Wimbledon on Saturday.
I'm expecting it to be a very high-scoring game because they basically have a high-scoring game every game. Some of the mistakes that I've seen that their defenders have made at the back, they're Sunday league level. Like I saw one against Sutton the other day. It was a pass back to the keeper, but he's played it 2 yards in front of him. So the Sutton player's just gone and took it from him. It's really questionable some of the mistakes they make at the back, but they can also hurt you up top. If you make a mistake, they will always punish you. They did score a good amount against Sutton, and they did score 2 against us as well. But I think if we can beat them once, we can definitely beat them again. And we won the last time up there, and we'll have the vocal support. Traveling in big numbers quite far way up north. So I think the atmosphere should be brilliant, and the players as a 12th man will be there to support the lads, get behind them.
Exactly. Let's hope that's true. Kian, are you expecting the same? I feel like we're a little bit confident going into the game as they have a proper leaky defence. What do you know about Notts County, and what do you think is going to happen?
I mean, on paper, they're a good team, really, with the likes of, David McGoldrick and, Langstaff and Jody Jones, those type of players. Like, they could easily be playing in the league above, to an extent, in the league above that. But then I feel that their defence is really letting them down this season. I feel that they're, like Scott said previously, they're very open in their play. And, this definitely leads to many goals they've conceded. Like, you cannot concede 4 goals against bottom of the league. Obviously, we lost to Sutton, I know. But you cannot concede 4 goals to a team that's most likely going to get relegated. Yeah. We should beat them, realistically, especially with their rotten form, going into this Saturday game.
Exactly. I really hope so. And just to end off the podcast, we'll go with our score predictions for Notts County. Kian, let's start with you. Score predictions for Notts County away and the scorers, if there is any.
I'm going to go, it's going to be high scoring, but for both teams, I'm going to go 3-2 Wimbledon. Last minute, Ronan Curtis again.
Wishing you luck with his last minute win.
He's going to take his shirt off again. He's going to.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Bugle for 2 and then Ronan Curtis score at the end.
I hope so. Hector, let's go to you. Will Kelly score us first? Oh, well, he might score against Grimsby. But score predictions and scorers.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 3-1 Wimbledon. And I think Kelly's going to get one off his bum. Or just put one on a plate, or just something really easy or lucky for him. He's gonna bag first. They're gonna score first. We're gonna equalise, and then it will go from there. I think Bogle will score, and then I think Kofi Barmer's gonna score.
Interesting. Will he score straight from a throw-in? Exactly. Scott, final bit of the podcast. What is your score prediction and scorers, if there is any?
Yeah, I'm going 3-1 as well.
Oh.
I think Langstaff will score from a Jody Jones cross for them. Kelly's going to score on the break when they're going to be pushing for the second. And then Omar Bugle's going to come into his own. He's going to have a nice little tap in.
Absolutely perfect.
And then Jake Reeves is going to pop up and get the third just to seal it against his former club as well.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Forgot you. Yeah.
I've just had just quickly as well, Reese. Just had a quick look at the fixtures on Tuesday night. Some big games actually. Barrow versus Gillingham.
Wow.
And the franchise away to Mansfield. So Mansfield potentially beating the franchise and Gillingham Barrow draw. It can really open up the playing field for us if we pick up 3 points.
Exactly.
So Tuesday nights. I know they're down there at the bottom, but this could be one of the biggest games of the season on the Tuesday night at Plough Lane.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be. It is a game which teams are playing each other around us, and we're playing a team right at the bottom. They're low in confidence, we're high in confidence after MK. Oh God, yeah, I didn't actually realise how important that is, but yeah, we're still 4 points off the playoffs. Do you think we can get in there, Scott?
If the lads put Saturday behind them and then play like that every game, they've got to come down. They're on a massive high now, aren't they? The whole club's on a high. The players need to go in tomorrow, get back on a level playing field, and go again on Tuesday and put in another shift. They've got to play. They've got to turn up and play like every game's against Milton Keynes. Simple as. Yeah. Play like that, we're going to get the playoffs. If we don't, and we play like we're playing Doncaster every week, unfortunately, it's mid-table obscurity, and it's just like, it's another season in League Two. So fingers crossed, we have to treat every game like it's franchise at home.
Exactly. Let's hope so. Well, Hector, Kian, and Scott, thank you for joining us on the podcast. A very, very good one. I think it's over an hour and 10 minutes when we had on the Ivor interview. So that's very good. But yeah, let's hope it's another successful week for the Dons. We'll be back for another podcast this time next week. And yeah, come on, you Dons, you franchise bastards. Never forgive, never forget. And yeah, come on, you Dons.